Dan Dickau here, Gonzaga Nation SI, the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. Been a little bit of a slow week around Gonzaga basketball after an explosion of announcements a week ago when Ryan Nembhard, out of the transfer portal from Creighton, decided to come to Gonzaga, as well as Graham Ike from Wyoming. Two phenomenal additions. We will be taking a deeper dive soon on what that means. We'll take a deeper dive soon on potential starting lineups. I know we've had some articles that our great journalists Cole Forsman and Henry Kruger have written recently in regards to those topics, but I'll break it down a little bit more in some of the things that I'm seeing or how I view things may play out. But again, a quiet week in regards to Gonzaga in the transfer portal, but that doesn't mean it's a quiet week in college basketball for the transfer portal. 1,600 players now are in the transfer portal. 1,600. About a fifth, nearly a quarter now of all players at the Division I level are in the transfer portal. Unfortunately, many of those will not find a home. One of the bigger names just announced yesterday where he was going to go. Someone I thought might have had a little bit of interest in Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga might have had a little bit of interest in him just because of the way he can score it and shoot it, and that would be Max Asmus. Burst onto the scene a few years ago with Oral Roberts, where they upset Texas in the NCAA tournament. Oddly enough, he's going to Texas. I thought he would have been an interesting option for Gonzaga because of the way he shoots it and he scores it, his creativity with the basketball, his ability to score in big moments that he's showcased in the NCAA tournament. The one negative would be the size factor, about 5'10" guard. Gonzaga has made a move in recent years, I think. I don't think it's been strategically talked about or it's been a focal emphasis on the staff and evaluating and recruiting, is to get bigger in the backcourt. Andrew Nembhard was a big guard. Jalen Suggs was a big guard. You go back a few more years, Josh Perkins, Nigel Williams-Goss had good size. Nolan Hickman at 6'3", Malachi Smith a year ago about 6'3", but sturdy and strong. So I think that's maybe would have been one reason Gonzaga didn't try to pursue that, if that even was a possibility out of the gates. But I think when you look at Gonzaga's roster right now, you've got 5 players that have declared for the NBA draft. Drew Timme, we all know, is gone. Somebody on Twitter the other day said, well, this might mean he's coming back because they've reloaded. Slow down, people. Drew Timme's not coming back. All right. He's put together an unbelievable, amazing career at Gonzaga. It's his time to move forward in the pursuit of his professional aspirations. Wish him the best of luck, pull for him, and hope that he can make an NBA roster or get drafted later this June. The other one, Julian Strawther, I'm 99% sure that he will be gone as well. I think he will be a late first round pick. If not in the first round, I definitely think he's going to get chosen in the second round. So I would imagine 99% Julian Strawther is gone as well. But then the 3 other players that are in the portal are of interest in, I think there's a definite chance one of them is coming back. I think there's a strong chance all 3 of them are coming back. The first one we'll talk about that I do think is coming back regardless is Steele Venters. He's the transfer commit from Eastern Washington, the Big Sky Player of the Year. Actually, I had him on podcast a week and a half, 2 weeks ago or so, and he kind of talked about his process. Wants to go through it and learn, see where he can improve. But his focus is on Gonzaga while he's learning what his draft opportunities may look like this year, but really looking forward to the next year, because I do think he's got NBA potential. He's got good size. He can shoot the heck out of it. And with the way these rules are structured, you have the ability to get evaluations, go through the process, go through the workout, learn what will help you in your own pursuit of furthering your career. So I think Steele Venters will be back. The other 2, Anton Watson, Malachi Smith, have more eligibility left. Now, most people think Anton Watson, because he's been there for 4 years, is gone. Well, with the COVID year, he's got that extra year. He quietly entered his name into the NBA draft. I do think at some point in time, Anton Watson will be on an NBA roster. I think defensively he is that good. I think on the offensive end, he solves a lot of pieces. Solves a lot of problems because he understands spacing. He understands cuts. He's a good screener. He's a good passer for his positional size. The one thing that will keep coming up is, can he shoot it from the perimeter? He showed stretches where he's knocked a couple in a row, but without the consistency that they're going to want to see. You will hear this term a lot in regards to Anton. Can he be a 3-and-D guy? And a lot of times in the NBA, if you can defend and you show promise as a shooter, you're going to have an opportunity because he's so versatile on the defensive end. On the offensive end of the floor, he has those attributes I just mentioned. But if he can shoot it from the three-point line, he becomes extremely valuable, especially as a corner three-point shooter. So I think that's going to be a big focus of his in the offseason, is really learning or showing, have I improved enough in my shooting ability? Are my mechanics to the point where an NBA front office thinks that in time I've got the ability to be that 3-and-D guy? So that being said, Anton is going through the process. Wish him the best. I think if he comes back, it's a huge bolster to Gonzaga's lineup. It will possibly change, and maybe that's why they haven't fully gone after, or maybe other bigs in the transfer portal haven't also committed to Gonzaga yet. I think Ben Gregg's definitely improved. I think he's showing signs that he will be a very good player next year, but who wouldn't want Anton Watson back? And so I think that possibly may be stalling a couple options in the transfer portal, because there's lots of different things that have to happen sometimes, unless you're the priority target for a staff. Maybe you really want to come to Gonzaga and they're just saying, hey, we really want you, but we got to hold off for just a little bit. Now, I don't know. I don't have any direct knowledge of any players in that circumstance, but many times that's the case and how it works out. The other one for Gonzaga would be Malachi Smith. He's got eligibility left. Obviously, we saw that he entered his name in the NBA draft. Now, I don't think he's an NBA player. I really don't. But many times players want to go through that process. They want to prepare like a professional. They want to see what it's like. For him, I'm imagining he's hoping to get invited to the G League Combine, which then could lead to some more opportunities, possibly a couple pre-draft workouts with some teams, to be able to get an honest evaluation before he has to make a true and full decision. Does he come back to school, or does he fully attack the professional route? Now, I think he's a player that will play professionally overseas, possibly in the G League, but I don't think he is an NBA player. But you got to support and you got to appreciate guys chasing their dreams. So I would think, after reading his announcement of going, the fact that he's been in college for so long, I don't think Malachi Smith would be coming back. If he does, another huge bonus for Gonzaga. I mean, then you would have a very experienced and deep backcourt. Nolan Hickman, Ryan Nembhard, Steele Venters, Malachi Smith. I mean, you're starting to put together a really formidable roster, another roster that people are going to say, hey, top 10 preseason, here we come. And we know how Gonzaga has continued to improve over the course of the season, last year being a great example. You put the right pieces together, you give them time to gel, build, grow, and you got something good on your hands. So again, slow week in the transfer portal in regards to Gonzaga, not a slow week overall in the transfer portal, with 1,600 players now searching for a new home. Don't forget to check out and subscribe to the podcast. We've got a conversation coming up with John Stockton that was recorded earlier this week, where we talk about any and everything. Really good conversation, fun conversation for me to have with John, one of the all-time greats in the game of not just basketball, but from Gonzaga to the NBA to international basketball, one of the all-time greats. So thanks for listening. We will be back shortly with a lot more content, a lot more news, a lot more coverage of Gonzaga basketball.